Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. The next episode in our Salat series is how to complete the Salat that you have missed. Assuming that you got to the masjid, you met them performing Salat in congregation, and you want to join. And after joining, they have performed some part of the Salat before you join them. Now, if you met them at the point of ruku, this is ruku. If you met them at this point and you are able to join them like this, then you have met that rakah. But if the imam has raised his head from the ruku, then you have missed that rakah. So we want to explain how to complete the rakahs that you have missed. Now, any rakah that you met is your number one. So take the rule. Any rakah that you met is your own number one. It can be the imam's number 2, number 3, number 4, but it is your own number one. So you are expected to complete it in that order. Let's give an example. If it is Salatul Fajr, there's no problem about that. You know it is 2 rakah, and the 2 rakah, you read it aloud. And after the Fatiha, you put surah. Therefore, if you met Imam at the ruku after the first rakah, it means they have done 1 rakah, but they are on the second rakah when you enter the masjid. When you enter the mosque, they are on the second rakah, and you met the Imam at this point, then you have met the 2 rakah. The 2 rakah of the salah you have met. But if you miss 1 rakah, when the imam begins, after sitting down and is reading Attahiyatulillah, as soon as the imam says, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, don't stand up. Don't stand up. Wait for him to do the second one. When he says, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, that's when you stand up. Allow the imam to complete the 2 taslim before you stand up to complete your salat. So what do? You do only 1 rakah, you read it aloud, and it is Surah to Fatiha and another surah. That is Salatul Subhi, Salatul Fajr. Let us now go to Salatul Zuhr and Salatul Asri. They are the same. Once the imam has started, and you missed only 1 rakah, which means you performed 3 rakah with the imams. Now, the 3 rakah that you performed, they are your own 1, 2, 3. So what happened? After the taslim, after the imam has said, Salamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, Salamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, you stand up and you perform only 1 rakah with Fatiha only. Because the number 4, your number 4 of Salatul Zuhr and Salatul Asri is Fatiha only. Don't say, I'm going to complete the one I missed. No, the one you missed is your number 4 now. Because it is in order. You have to do it in order. The one you met is your number 1. The second one, your number 2. The third one, your number 3. So when you stand up, you bring number 4 in the nature of number 4. That is only Fatiha. That is for Salatul Zuhr. So, assuming you met 2 rakah of Salatul Zuhr and Salatul Asri, it means the Imam has already read Fatiha and Surah, Fatiha and Surah, and the Imam has sat down. Remember, the number 3 and number 4 of Imam is only Fatiha, Fatiha. So, the number 3 and number 4 that you met is your own number 1 and number 2. Which means, if the imam finishes and you stand up to complete your salat, you are going to make the last 2 your number 3 and your number 4, which means only Fatiha, only Fatiha. Don't be worried that I have not read a surah. You are part of the Jumah. So what the imam read has covered your salat. Therefore, you may end up reading only Fatiha in all the 4, because the last 2 you met imam performing is only Fatiha, Fatiha. And your own last 2, which is your own number 3 and 4 in that order, is also only Fatiha, Fatiha. So don't be worried. You are part of the Jumah. That's how to repay missed salat. Assuming you met the imam performing 3 and you missed only 1, that's the first one I said. But if all you met is imam has performed 3, you met only 1, and you want to repay the 3, the only one you met is your number 1. Then after Taslim, you now stand up and bring up your number 2. After your number 2 will be Fatiha and Surah. Then you sit down. You read Attahiyatulillah. Then you stand up and do your last 2, which is only Fatiha. So that is for Zuhr and Asri. If you go to Maghrib, Salatul Maghrib, assuming the Imam has started, and you started with the Imam, he's going to read aloud Surah to Fatiha, and he's going to read the Surah aloud. So he has read 1 and finished 1 rakah. Then you met them on the second rakah. That your own second rakah is your first rakah. Don't mind, it's your own first rakah. So what do? After the Imam has sat down, you will sit down with them. The Imam will stand up again for the last rakah. You stand up with them again. When the Imam finishes and do tashahud, you are going to stand up to bring only 1 rakah. Remember, you met 2. The 2 rakah you met, 1 was read aloud, Surah, Fatiha and Surah. The second one was not read aloud, only Fatiha. When you stand up, you will still repeat 1 that is not going to be read aloud, only Fatiha. That's your number 3. The number 3 of your salat is your number 3. So, because you missed only 1, so you repay only 1. But you repay it as the 3rd rakah, not as the 1st rakah. So you are not going to read it aloud, you are going to read it silently. Assuming the Imam has performed 2 in Maghrib, and he read the 2 aloud, and you missed the 2, you only perform 1 with the Imam. That 1 you perform, remember, is only Fatiha and it is silent. It does not matter. Your salat is the salat of the Imam. So that's the only one you met is your number 1. So what do? After the Imam has done attire, remember you met the last rakah of Salatul Maghrib. After the Imam said, Salaam alaikum wa rahmatullah, Salaam alaikum wa rahmatullah, you then stand up and bring up your number 2. Remember, number 2 of Maghrib is said out, is read aloud. So you are going to read it aloud, Surah to Fatiha and another surah. Then you sit down, you do attire. Because after number 2, you must sit down. Then you now stand up again and bring only 1 rakah, which is only Fatiha. That's your number 3. And then you do your Salam alaikum wa rahmatullah, Salam alaikum wa rahmatullah. Then as for Salatul Isha, if you met them only after they have performed 1, which means you perform 3 with them. Of course, when you stand up, you bring the last one is your own number 4. So the one you are going to bring is the number 4 of your salat. So it is only Fatiha silently, And if you miss 2, that means they have performed 2 which they read out, they read aloud, and you met only 2 which they read silently. When you stand up, the first 2 you met is your number 1 and number 2, which is without any surah, it's just Fatiha. Your number 3 and number 4 will also be Fatiha. Don't worry about the surah. The salat of the Imam is your salat. So it is important for us to know that when somebody is a late comer, is the salat he met is his number 1. And it continues like that to complete it. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless you. And I urge you to share the video, to share it among your friends, your brothers, so that they know that when we meet a salat in Jumah, there are ways of completing it with ease. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless us as we perform the salat as prescribed by Allah and as practiced by Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Please share this video. And for those who still want to receive the videos and the audios directly, they can send it to my number. My WhatsApp number is 08061369280. Once again, 08061369280. 9280. I'm your brother, Dr. Abdul Hakim Abdul Latif, the Chief Imam, Lagos State House of Assembly Central Mosque. Until then, Salamu Alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin.